Hello and welcome back to TST. If you're new to the channel, tap on the subscription button and press the notification bell so you can receive news and updates that you can rely on daily. President Trump says, quote, "The jury is still out on FBI Director Christopher Wray. Another FBI chief could soon be forced out." President Trump said the, quote, "jury is still out" with regard to FBI Director Christopher Wray during an appearance Friday on Fox and Friends. He said Wray was, quote-unquote, recommended by former Deputy Attorney General Rod Rosenstein, who appointed Special Counsel Robert Mueller to investigate Russian interference in the 2016 campaign after Trump fired his previous FBI Director James Comey in May 2017. Trump also said former New Jersey Governor Chris Christie played a role in the process of picking Wray for the job. In recent weeks, Republicans have become increasingly frustrated with Wray after it took a U.S. attorney appointed by Attorney General William Barr to pry open secrets about the FBI's Trump-Russia investigation, particularly information related to the case of former Trump National Security Advisor Michael Flynn. Trump said he told Barr to, quote-unquote, handle it, but he also said, "In theory, I'm Chief Law Enforcement Officer." After the Justice Department filed to dismiss the case against Flynn, Barr defended Wray in an interview with CBS News. He said the FBI director has, quote, been very helpful to various investigations, including U.S. Attorney John Durham's review of the Russia investigation. "There are a lot of cases in the Department of Justice, and I don't consider it the director's responsibility to make sure that all the documents are produced in each case. So I wouldn't say that this has affected my confidence in Director Wray," he said. President Trump nominated Wray to take over the FBI after he fired Comey. Well, take a watch.
A couple of things. In the big picture, why did it take a judge to release these documents? And where was the FBI Director Chris Wray? Why did he not put this out? It doesn't reflect badly on him. It's cleaning up the FBI.
Well, a lot of things are going to be told over the next couple of weeks, and let's see what happens. He was appointed by Rod Rosenstein, and a lot of things are coming out. You'll see a lot of things coming out.
And recommended by Chris Christie, right?
It's disappointing. He was recommended by Chris, but he was really recommended by Rod Rosenstein, and Chris said, "Fine, let's see what happens with him." Look, the jury's still out with regard to that, but it would have been a lot easier if he came out rather than skirting and going through 19 different ways except through the FBI. So let's see what he get at. I told Bill Barr, "You handle it." I would be absolutely entitled, in theory. I'm Chief Law Enforcement Officer, in theory. But I said, you know what? I want Bill Barr to handle it. I want nothing to do. Let's see. He's done an unbelievable job. Bill Barr is a man of unbelievable credibility and courage. And he's going to go down in the history books.
If Bill Barr was...
Brian,
yes.
If this were a Republican, and if this were 25 people would be in jail for 50 years already. They would be in jail for 50 years, and it would have happened 2 years ago, because everybody knew this was a hoax. I called it the Russian hoax. And Russia. And some of the people on your network, in all fairness, they got it right. Sean, you look at Sean Hannity, what he's done. I mean, he should get the equivalent of the Pulitzer Prizes. And Laura Ingraham, and in all fairness, Tucker would do the Russia bit and laugh about it every night for 2 years. And your show, I mean, look, your show has been not exactly a believer in the hoax, but you look over to the other side, CNN, which is a very dishonest group. These people are just purely sick. And MSDNC, and it's they're doing everything. And now they're very embarrassed. They don't know what to do because they've been caught.
Well, just a quick follow-up. If Bill Barr was your first attorney general, would there have been a Mueller probe and a Russia hoax?
No, there wouldn't be. He would have stopped it immediately. He saw it immediately. He would have seen it immediately. Jeff Sessions was a disaster. I made him. I didn't want to make him attorney general, but he was the first senator to endorse me. So I felt a little bit of an obligation. He came to see me 4 times, just begging me to be attorney general. He wasn't to me, equipped to be Attorney General, but he just wanted it. He was from a state that I love, Alabama. I won Alabama by a tremendous margin. He wanted it. And I said, all right, Jeff, he was a smaller version of that in Alabama for a little while. He was a very average guy, I find out. But if he goes in, he was so bad in his nomination, proceedings. I should have gotten rid of him there. But every time the word Russia, he knew less about Russia than I did. He knew nothing about Russia. But they got him standing on a line with Kislyak, who's the ambassador. Well, Kislyak had dinner with Nancy Pelosi and Schumer. All these guys, everybody in Washington knew Kislyak. She had dinner with him many, many times. And Jeff was just very weak and very sad. And when the name Russia was mentioned, just the word Russia, he immediately, instead of being a man and saying, this is a hoax, he recused himself. And he had a deputy named Rod Rosenstein who probably, you'll see things coming out. But I learned a lot from Richard Nixon. Don't fire people. I learned a lot. I study history. And the firing of everybody, I should have in one way, but I'm glad I didn't, because look at the way it turned out. They were all a bunch of crooks and they got caught. But I learned a lot by watching Richard Nixon. Of course, there was one difference, one big difference. Number one, he may have been guilty, and number two, he had tapes all over the place. I wasn't guilty. I did nothing wrong, and there are no tapes. But I wish there were tapes in my case. But learn a lot from Richard Nixon, and you don't do that. The one person I did a very good thing in firing was the dirty cop Comey. And when I fired him, the whole thing blew up. They were ratting on each other. They were going crazy. It was like throwing a rock at a hornet's nest. Had I not fired him, I probably wouldn't be speaking to you right now, other than maybe I'd be talking to you about the private sector, because I'd be in the private sector. And because this was a takeover, this was a takedown of a duly elected president of the United States. When I fired Comey, because he was dishonest and he lied in front of Congress and other things, when I fired Comey, you know what hit the fan, and it was big. It was big. It was a monster. And those guys, when McCabe was a bad guy, all of these guys started going after each other. That's when we found all of the emails and the texts, where you had the two lovers, Strzok and Page, talking about how the insurance policy, that if she doesn't win, essentially we have an insurance policy, meaning if she doesn't win, that's what we went through, that we'll take them out. We'll take them out anyway. Even though they had nothing, we'll take them out. These were crooked guys. These were crooked people. And it's very exciting. I mean, because I kept talking about, it's one of the achievements. I said, one of the things is we have to take out and expose and take out the deep state. That's been one of the things, drain the swamp. I had no idea the swamp was like this. I figured the swamp was, just sort of a mess and some people, but I had no idea they were this deep and this bad. And there are still plenty of others in there.
Right.
But we are draining the swamp like nobody's ever drained the swamp. And I'm going to put it down when it's all over, when I someday leave office, and hopefully we have another 4.5 years. But when I someday leave office, I'm going to put this down as one of our greatest achievements, because we're cleaning it up. We're cleaning up Justice Department. We're cleaning up the FBI. And I love these people. I love the FBI. These are great. If you did a poll there, I do very well in the FBI. But the top was crooked. They were dirty cops.
Share your thoughts and responses in the comments down below. If you've liked this report, let us know by tapping that like button down below. Share the news among friends and family. And don't forget to subscribe to our channel. Thank you for watching. Stay tuned for more news and updates on TST. I'm David Ravine, and I'll see you in the next one. Till then, stay healthy and stay safe.